An April potato harvest here in Zone 5? Well, that's what happens when you grow indoors.
Guten Yardening, everybody. I think I need to repeat myself. It's the middle of April, and I'm about to harvest some potatoes. Now, first of all, you have to know that my favorite things in life to harvest come from underground. Those would be our potatoes and our sweet potatoes, because there's just the adventure of not knowing what it is that you're about to pull out of the ground that just makes me, well, really excited to be out here trying to determine what we're going to get, what kind of crop we're going to get. We have never grown potatoes indoors before. But 4 months ago, we planted these potatoes from some of the potatoes that we had harvested earlier last season just to see how they would grow indoors. So this is an opportunity for us to see how well we did and where we might need to improve upon these methods. Now, this is the first bag that we're harvesting. There are actually plenty other potatoes for us to harvest, some of them growing in our indoor raised bed here, some of them growing in other bags, but this is the one that's happened to die back first. So a short winter's time later, and we're ready to see what's inside. Now today, since I'm harvesting these indoors, it could get pretty messy. I'm using one of these tabletop soil containers. It's really handy and has been helpful to us in keeping down some of the mess with working with soil. And I'm going to put a link to one of these in the description in case it's something you're interested in. Or, I mean, this works indoors or outdoors, just a place for you to contain some of the mixing you're doing, especially if you're growing in containers. So without any further ado, and because I can't contain my excitement and I really want to get in here and see what's going on, let's take a look at the first potato harvest of 2021.
All right, we have in this 3-gallon grow bag one single plant. And you can see this is our standard potting mix, a great mix. This is cocoa cure, peat moss, a little bit of vermiculite in here. And then we amended it so that there was a nice growing medium here for this potato. And you can see the size of the stem on this. There's still some green in here, even though the leaves have all died back, and they have died back long before now, but we've been leaving it in here till the very end. Now, I know some people say you just cut off this massive stem here, right down about an inch above the ground, and then leave it there that way for a couple of weeks. We didn't do that, but again, this is our first opportunity to see what we got growing indoors. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get this top part snipped off. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this upside down, get our bag upside down. I'm going to move the edges away just a little bit, pushing gently inside, and then I'm going to pop it right out. All the potatoes are falling out. Here we go. Let's see. As soon as I pop that around, a whole bunch of these little red potatoes started falling out. So maybe that's a good sign. They're not all that big. Let's pull one up here. But hey, it's nice and healthy. That's not too bad. All right, so we got a bunch of these little ones. We'll see if we can get a full weight on this at the very end to see how much came out of this one grow bag. But now I'm going to start pushing some of the soil aside and seeing what's underneath there. This red variety is a determinate variety, which means that it won't develop any farther up the stem, even if we added soil. Oh, there we go. There's our next one. All right, these aren't all that big. And actually, I can already see some development, it looks like, from the eyes here. And one of the things that we had talked about was growing some of these indoors just to create more seed potatoes for our upcoming growing season. So we'll see if that happened, or if we got some really nice harvest in here. Can you see this? Look at that. Okay, we open up the middle. I'll try to get us down on this nicely here. We open up the middle, and there are potatoes everywhere. And these are perfect size. Look at this. Perfect size for the red potatoes. Now, this is kind of interesting. They're nice and solid, but you'll notice the color difference here. Why do you think that is? They're not solid red like the ones when we grew them outdoors. there's a change in color. It almost looks like a mixture of potatoes. Why do you think this is? It's that difference in color. It's not a green color. It's more of a tan color, almost like almost like one of our other brown potatoes or our tan potatoes. But some of them have that. But other than that, these are beautiful. And there are so many more. Okay, I'm going to put these off to the side and I'm going to keep digging. Yes, we definitely have some small ones in here that didn't develop any further. You know, a few of these. That's kind of to be expected. But again, I'm seeing these are just easily detaching. And there's quite a few of these potatoes. This is a good, I'm going to say it right now, this is a good harvest out of a little 3-gallon bag. Oh, here we go. Here's the mother potato. What's left of it anyway. This is what has fed the rest of these potatoes as it was growing. So I guess you could call this our seed potato. This is where it came from. It's all, well, there you go. It's all mushed up there. But that fed everything up to this point. And you know, I haven't even grabbed onto the main plant. I've just been pulling them off. But here's the main plant, the stem here. A couple more of these attached to it as well. We're going to be gentle because the skin on these is going to be really soft and tender. We don't want to scratch them. If we scratch them, they would scratch easily. And we want to be able to keep these a little while. Look at that. Those are beautiful. You can see some of the bone meal in here. That's what that brownish color is. Right there, that's some of the bone meal that we were using to try to encourage the root growth there. Bone meal is one of those additives that we put in anytime we're planting these root crops. It's very useful in promoting that root growth. Boy, look at that. Well, you can see I'm not making a mess either. So that's, again, one of the benefits of using one of these tabletop soil trays. I think I've got most of the big ones here. Let's take a look at the main plant here real quick. And you can see, you know, the top had died back, but there's still spots here along the roots where you can see the potential for more development. You can see the ones that didn't develop the whole way. Oh, there we go. A little one right here on the roots. Again, that's not uncommon, and you'll likely have that regardless of when you harvest. There's always going to be some that don't fully develop. But it's kind of cool to see anyway. From one plant, one potato, we've got a pretty nice harvest. All right, there we go. I'll put my hand down here for a size comparison. But you can see that's the harvest we got from one seed potato of our own making. So this is from one plant in a 3-gallon grow bag. This is the harvest we got. So let's talk numbers now. I want to get a weight on this to see just how much we got in terms of pounds for this one. We'll let it hang right here. We are spot on at 1.5 pounds. 1.5 pounds of potatoes from this one plant grown indoors for the first time that we've ever tried this.
Now, to me, this kind of result breeds a lot of excitement for many reasons. For one, again, this is the first time we've tried it, and we have a whole bunch more still to come. You know, potatoes can be one of those harvests because you don't know what's underneath the ground. It can be really exciting or really disappointing. And that's one of the reasons why we never just plant one method or one style for our potatoes or even our sweet potatoes. We try to grow in multiple methods like our indoor raised bed here and in these grow bags. And I got to tell you that 1.5 pounds of potatoes from one potato that we had harvested, about 8 months ago, I think that's a pretty great return on investment. And no matter how we use these, if we eat them, if we allow them to sprout and we use them again for our next planting, I think the results speak for themselves. One thing to keep in mind though, we are not going to wash these. We're going to leave them exactly as is until we're ready to use them for whatever purpose. We're going to let them sit at least for the next couple of weeks so that the skin can harden off. We're going to keep them in a nice, dark, cool area so that they last as long as we need them to last. And then, you know what? I got to tell you, they look so good. I'm pretty sure I'm ready for some more fresh potatoes. Well, we hope you enjoyed this video. and found it encouraging. If you're trying to grow potatoes indoors, we would love to hear your experiences. You know, if you're growing them outdoors, we're just as excited as you are to get ours in the ground here in Zone 5. So we've got lots more to come for these potatoes, and we've got lots more to come just in general. So again, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a like, leave us a comment, remember to share and subscribe, and most importantly, remember, when you're with us, you are good to grow.